This is the Yay. I'm Reg Clay.
And Norman G.
This is the Yay, where we talk about life in the theater and the theater of life.
Yay!
We want to thank, as we always do, Central Works, a new play theater headed up by Gary Graves and Jans Leifler. Central Works, reinventing theater one play at a time. Thank you so much, Central Works, for sponsoring the Yay. We have a special guest, Katja Rivera. Katja, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, pandemic and smoke aside.
Right, exactly. There's so many things. And Norman and I were talking a couple of days ago how every week there's something strange going on.
Something happens Monday or Tuesday and you think, oh shit, that's the story this week. And by Friday,
it's something completely different.
Yeah,
everybody in the Rose Garden's sick.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. The number, as a matter of fact, this morning it was I think the latest person is Chris Christie.
Yes.
Yes. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers.
That's okay.
Science exists.
Right. I put up a YouTube video, not a YouTube, but a Facebook post saying that, I don't wish ill on the president, although he, has done really bad things. And of course, I got a little bit of blowback because, people are upset. They're emotionally invested in either loving or hating the president. In any case, as I forget every podcast, Norman, how was your week?
My week was ridiculously quiet. I didn't get a lot to do this week. Holy cow! So the big thing of my week was, my sister. Did I tell the story last week? I took clarinet when I was in elementary school, and I quit going into high school. My sister apparently kept my clarinet, and when her daughter was big enough, she gave her the clarinet. And she started playing. And she got good enough that they went out and they bought her a nice clarinet, like a professional level clarinet. Being a child, she sat on it and broke it. So my wife takes that clarinet and my clarinet to this guy. He says, he looks at the fancy clarinet and says, oh yeah, I should be able to fix this. It's a really good clarinet, so let me try and fix it. And she says, oh, can you check this one out too, just cause. So he gives her a loaner. Now this is probably when my niece was in high school or maybe even before. And she's now about 30. She's over 30. So my sister has apparently been holding on to this loaner all these years, never went back. The guy never got in touch with her. She never checked back with him. So she says, I'm going to send you this clarinet. And I'm like, well, okay, if it's better than what I got, hallelujah, I'll take it. And what a nice birthday present. So she said she was sending it last week. I don't hear it. I don't see it. Finally, she sent me a message, asked me about it. Oh, I sent a message saying, thank you so much. That was so thoughtful. And she says, oh, did you get it? And I'm like, no, I haven't gotten it yet. So just like yesterday, I get a message from them saying, you haven't gotten it yet? They say FedEx says it was delivered. I'm like, it wasn't delivered here. They sent it to my old address. No signature. Left it on the porch.
Yeah, that happens to me too.
Totally frustrated. And what am I supposed to do about this? I can't do nothing. But I do actually have contacts over there, and I have a key. I still have a key.
Yay.
So I go over there, and I ring the buzzer for my old apartment, and somebody buzzes me in. Doesn't even ask me who I am. They just buzz me in. And I go up and I knock on the door, no answer. I start to leave, and then I'm like, wait a minute, you buzz me in. So I buzz again. They buzz me in again. I go up and I knock, and this time this young woman opens the door, and I tell her who I am and what I'm looking for. She says, no, I haven't seen anything. Very sincere. I'm like, okay, too bad, but okay. So Mara, thankfully, has been egging me on with all this, and she said, well, maybe you should put up a note asking people, say, lost package. So I'm like, okay, I'm embarrassed at this point. I'm really embarrassed about this whole thing, but sure, I'll try it. I put up a note, and last night, I was barely home. I think we might have had dinner. And then I get a message from my old neighbor who says, hey, I recognized your name on the package, so I grabbed it. I have it. So I went and I picked it up last night. Yeah,
Right on.
happy ending.
So now you can, yeah, you and I were
As
talking. As a matter of fact, that was happening while you and I were on the phone, and I've had some issues with my emails, and so I've had some packages delivered, and sometimes my email will go to spam, and I would
Right.
have these messages saying, "Oh, your package is here. Pick it up from. We have a little lock box at our
Uh-huh.
complex." And I'm like, okay, do I have to reorder something? Did Amazon screw up or whatever? Is there something going on? I know there's an
Right.
email conspiracy, mail conspiracy thing going on. To make a long story short, I just had to go into my spam and I realized that I had a bunch of packages piling up, and I
Wow.
all that stuff. So
Ah!
you haven't had any horrid mail stories, have you, Katja?
oh yes. Not recently, but I've had them. I've had them where packages got lost, and then I had to get replacements, and then the originals came like 6 months later.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. And then
wow.
you realize you've wasted money unless you can get a refund or something like that.
No, they were advent calendars, so I used them the next year and gave them to,
Oh,
Okay.
there you go. There you go.
Oh, you like the
switched them
advent
up, gave them to the
calendar.
other daughter.
Yay.
I do. I'm a gal for an advent calendar.
I grew up on them. I have a fond spot in my
Yeah.
heart for those.
The physical calendar, yeah, that's a rare thing. I mean, people are it's
We
usually
have one,
yeah.
but it's not. It's Popeye, who's one of my heroes. Like, I was excited when I saw it, and now I know always flip it over, look at that back page and see what all those images are, because you're going to be seeing them all year. And they were lame. Like, oh, okay, no, y'all could have done way better on Popeye than that.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of current events. I mean, my
Wow.
goodness. I usually have a list, and I had to throw the list away a couple of days ago because obviously, the big thing is Trump getting COVID-19, and the list just keeps piling on and on as far as
You mean
other.
Trump saying he has COVID-19?
Oh, you think it's an October surprise?
I don't know. I don't trust him.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one. I was so happy to jump on social media and see that response all over the place.
Yeah. Katya, what do you think of just the whole thing of the debates? I mean, I was going to talk about, the reaction from the debates, and there's the Kimberly Guilfoyle thing that's going on, why she was fired from Fox, but just the whole thing. I mean, are you optimistic about the election? How do you feel?
I am. I'm not optimistic, but I'm hopeful. If
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. And today I looked up Stacey Abrams' PAC,
Yeah.
which is about voter suppression, and I thought that's where I want to give my money for the last month.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where my money's going. That, and I'm
That's a
doing the
good one.
postcards to voters in
Mhm.
Kentucky right now. So I figure I'm doing what little action I can to keep the despair away. And
Yeah.
I thought 4 years ago, I was just like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So that was a punch in the gut that I still haven't gotten,
Right.
it's still sore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
for a
yeah.
lot of us. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And
So what was the Guilford foil thing?
Shucks. Well, I mean, it's okay. So according to, I think it was the New York Times. So basically, Kimberly Guilfoyle, I thought that she basically just left because Donald Jr. swept her off her feet, and it's Neverland in the White House. But apparently, Kimberly Guilfoyle was accused of sexual harassment to a female employee of
You were
hers.
telling me this, yes.
That's right, during Fox. And apparently Fox paid off this employee $4 million. So,
Whoa.
it's like, well, we didn't, I didn't do it, but here's $4 million to keep your mouth shut. And obviously that
Right.
didn't work because we know about it.
Right.
Really lurid stuff. I mean, like her appearing naked, and, having the insistence come to her house and showing pictures of the men that she's, been with and all that sort of stuff. Really, really seedy stuff, salacious stuff. And it's really potpourri because it takes the focus away from the important stuff. Like I was hoping that there would be a stimulus package, a second stimulus package.
Yeah.
And of course the House passed it, but of course it'll never get past the Senate. And I'm thinking,
But Mnuchin was in on this latest deal, so you would hope that him and the White House would put some pressure on.
yeah.
And God knows, Mitch has got pressure on him right now.
Yeah, I think it's a game of chicken. I know that Mnuchin met with Pelosi, but it was really, I don't know, just potpourri. I compare it to Kabuki theater. It's just all it's a show to show your voters,
Yeah.
that you're working hard, but there's really no consensus. So that's got me
Right. You're not
now.
saving people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we could jump right into an origin story, or I don't know if
Oh.
there's anything else to talk about.
No,
Katja,
yeah, this week is, I mean, to bring it local, it's just the air. We're all like checking that map every day and trying to figure out whether you can go out and you look out the window and, hey, the sun is kind of there.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the moon has been beautiful because of all this goddamn smoke in the air. The moon has been gorgeous.
Yeah.
How's your breathing been, Katja?
Well, I was out of town until Wednesday, and I understand that's when the air got bad again. I was in DC with my grandson and my daughter and son-in-law.
Yay!
Yeah.
Washington D.C. That's my hometown.
But yeah. Ah, I was in Alexandria
Right on, Alexandria,
and
Virginia.
Baltimore.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a week in Baltimore with my brother, quarantined, then went for 2 weeks with my grandson.
Oh.
But yeah, so I was there a long time. I was there a long, long time. So I flew out on the Orange Wednesday, that awful Orange Wednesday.
Yeah.
I flew out of that, and I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he said, "Yeah, it's bad, but right now it kind of feels like LA in the '70s," which Norman
Exactly. I mean, I grew up down there, and I see it
Yeah, me too.
regularly. I
Me
think
too.
that. God.
Yeah, I grew up near Pasadena, so
Oh,
it's
well,
bad out
that was a
there.
little better. I was in Claremont, so we're on the very edge of LA County,
Uh-huh.
and that stuff would just get caught against the hills. Well, you were there too, the foothills.
Oh yeah,
That fucking smog would just
and you
park.
would see it descend in the morning. It'd just be like,
Yeah.
no. So that's how I wear the masks. I wear the little gas masky things if I have to go out and it's above 150. But
Yeah.
I've been unemployed since March, so I've been able to, not have to go out too much.
Yeah.
That's about to change. I'm about to
Oh
go
yeah,
back to
what's
work.
up?
Alameda County is opening up massage, so I can go back to my health club and start pounding the flesh.
Yay.
Oh, is that what you do? Is that your day job, or?
That's my day job. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel bad about. There was a article today about their airline employees who have been let go. I think 20,000 from two major airlines, and CNN had videos of them just crying, just like,
Right.
So it's really hit, economically and mentally, physically. There's been articles about people in the African American community dealing with just depression and that sort of stuff. So it's amazing
Yeah.
how, I mean, all of 2020 has been sort of surrealism and just us
Right.
slogging and getting through. Any case,
Mhm.
let's hear
Yeah,
more about.
so
Go ahead.
yeah, we can jump in. So yeah, we normally we ask our guests for an origin story, and we will. But as part of the Bay Area Directors Summit, the BAD Summit, I wanted to make sure I got you on because I know you're out there and you're working in the trenches. So I want to make sure we get a chance to hear about that. But we always start with, how did you get into theater? Where are you from?
I'm from Northeast LA. Grew up in San Fernando Valley initially, and then grew up in Northeast LA, which is pretty heavily Hispanic, but it was It was a diverse community, very diverse community, and I decided I wanted to do a play after I saw my cousin do a musical, and I was just thought, oh, I want to do that. And then, so I took theater in high school. And my junior year, I was in a body cast for 9 months because I had scoliosis surgery.
Oh,
I had the curvature of the spine.
right.
So I couldn't be in any plays. So I wanted
Right.
to do something. So I directed.
Really?
I directed a
Were you in a
Shawnee
cast
Casey
directing?
fun act. Yeah, from here to my hips. And it was a really great experience. I almost lost my toe in that first directing experience, which taught me theater can be dangerous, because I had one of my actors move a piano, and she pushed the piano from the top, and the piano started to fall over, and me in my body cast tries to catch the piano. It lands on my toe, and I had to go to Kaiser, get it sewn back on, basically.
Good Lord. Wow.
I was a mess. I had a body cast. I had something on my foot. It looked like I'd been in a car accident or a plane wreck or something.
I knew theater was dangerous, but damn.
Yeah.
What was your first
Be
show?
careful when you ask askers. It was Fumed Oak by Noel Coward.
Wow.
It was a one act. Yes, it was a one act. And it was about this family that hated each other. It was it was funny, but it was also like kind of depressing.
Sort of like Virginia Woolf or comedy.
Yes.
That? Yeah.
Yes, in England. In post-war England. So that was my first play I directed.
Wow.
And I also directed another play in high school, Odd Couple.
Neil Simon, I think. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And so my senior year, we got a new drama teacher who was very strict. And our previous teacher had been very much feel the sky, let's do improv. And I didn't resonate with that very much. But the next teacher was very strict, and he was like, we're not doing a musical this year because you guys don't have the discipline for it. And we'd have to go up and do sonnets on the main stage. We had this WPA theater, really beautiful theater. And he'd be in the back and he'd be like, I can't hear you. I can't understand you. And that's when I was like, oh, you have to work at this. I like this. I like this. This is something that is a craft that you learn. It's not just you have it or you don't.
Right.
So after that, I took a gap year after high school because I had gotten accepted to a couple of schools, and my parents said, we don't have the money for it.
Right.
I got accepted to Harvard
and
Brown.
Wait,
my parents were
Harvard
like,
and where?
oh,
Brown.
Second one? Brown.
Yeah.
Brown. Nice.
And my parents
shit.
said, we didn't think you'd get in. Sorry, we don't have the money. I'm one of 7.
So what happened after the gap year then?
I went to LA City College Theater Academy. It was a 3-year theater academy that, was close to nothing in terms of money. And I lived at home and learned a lot and got out of that. I got to direct again, but mostly did theater, did acting. Then started trying to get my foot in the door
in LA.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at you. It's just, good Lord, that is its own little trial.
And that would be in the 80s, right? Is that the timeline?
Yeah, 1979, 1980. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting times at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was actually a SAG strike going on at the time. So I was doing a play that was getting Dramalogue awards and all kinds of praises. And I was not able to get a single freaking agent to come to the show.
Right.
I was also taking class with Michael Shurtleff, who wrote the book Audition.
Yeah.
And I was outside with a bunch of other actresses and young women, and they were all really skinny. And I was having coffee and a donut, and they were all talking about their diets. And I just thought, this is not for me. I need to get out of this place.
Yeah, LA,
This
LA
is
is
not my,
brutal. Yeah.
yeah, this is not my tribe. This is not my tribe. So I started auditioning for schools, and
Ah,
I wanted to do like one more year. So I auditioned for a couple of schools, and I got accepted at the Drama Studio of London and Seattle. And I liked Drama Studio because it was only 1 year. And I
uh-huh.
felt like that's what I hadn't left in me
Right.
school-wise. So I came up here, and I have not been able to leave.
What school brought you up here?
School brought me up here. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was the Drama Studio of London at Berkeley, and it
Oh.
was, the school was right off of the university. Molly Noble,
Yeah.
local actor,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
was at school. Forrest Whitaker was in the class right
Wow.
behind us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Nice guy. Really
Mm-hmm.
nice guy. An amazing singer.
Wow.
We did a audition for, we did Wizard of Oz, and his audition, he sang My Girl a cappella. And it was, I still remember, you know, I get shivers thinking about how good he was. He was just, I was just like, he's so talented, but he's black and he's chubby and he has a wandering eye. What chance does he have? But he's so talented.
We do, we're, you know, it's funny, if you stay in the business long enough, you start watching those folks that you saw, you remember. I mean, this year, I don't know if we talked about it week, but on the Emmys, the young woman, Zendaya,
Zendaya, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
yeah, and you know, is from here, and people remember her and remember her coming up through the ranks, and you know, here we are, but this is going on around us. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Robert knows her mom
Molly
real well.
teaches at Marin,
Yeah,
yeah, College of Marin.
yeah, yeah. Susan Evans was also in my class.
Oh,
Susan Evans, Eastender. Yeah. Matter of
Yes,
fact, I'm
yes.
working with her now on the
Oh,
Brick
I'm
Project.
jealous. I'm
Yeah.
jealous. I love Susan. She's one of my favorite people.
I'll tell her I'll be talking with her tomorrow. I'll tell her that that you said
yay!
hi.
Oh, definitely.
Ah, good,
Hi, Susan.
good. Hi,
So
Susan.
you got done with school and you found yourself stuck in the Bay Area. Why didn't you get the hell out of here?
Um, well, I stuck around because I wanted to get my equity card.
Hmm?
I did get my equity card after maybe 2 or 3 years. Did a show with the Magic, and that got me my equity card.
Mhm.
And I was working a lot. I was doing like 4 or 5 shows a year. A lot.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Right.
and this was in my late 20s, and my then husband and I decided we were going to move to New York. He was a playwright. I was an actor, and we were going to make it and do our big move.
Sure.
And right before we moved, I had my first midlife crisis, and I was like, I can't move. I can't be married to you.
Ah! Wow.
Met
Start
my
taking-
second husband, and within like a year and a half was pregnant with my first daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
And
just
took a
felt
10-year
rooted here?
break.
Is that what kept you?
Yeah, I used to do Renaissance Fair and travel up here from LA to do
Yeah.
the Northern Renaissance Fair.
Right.
And I always loved the Bay Area. I just loved it. I'd drive through and I'd be like, I want to be a starving actress in a garret.
We got Garrett.
I made it.
Did you do any
So
directing
you
during those
stayed?
early? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it. Good question.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. Did you? Because it sounds like you started directing and then you went into acting. Did you miss directing in those early days of you sort of getting in the theater, or were you sort of on the acting track?
I was on the acting track. I mean, I enjoyed directing. I knew I never wanted to stage manage. I did that once, and I never wanted to do that again.
Right.
But I did enjoy directing. I enjoyed telling people where to go. I have a vague memory of directing a play in our garage when I was like 7 or 8
Huh.
that I wrote. And then I really liked that. But once I started into theater school, I really liked acting. And
Yeah.
once I got out of my body cast too, I was like, I want to act.
Well, what shifted you? What shifted you to directing? So one thing we didn't say is, so I met you through Each One Reach One, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So, and I
Actually,
love
no.
this. All of my alums, all my Each One Reach One alums, I love when somebody asks, "How'd you guys meet?" And it's like, Juvie, right? Juvie. Yeah, we were in Juvie.
We didn't. We actually met when you were doing something with Shotgun. It was
Oh, Man and Superman.
Man and Superman.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, that's when I first met you.
Aha.
Yeah, long time ago.
Oh gosh, I can't even remember how long ago. But yeah, we met through that, and it was weird because Each One Reach One pulls in these theater artists, but who are you? What do you do? There's actors, there's some writers, not many, some directors, and then some the occasional educator or whatever that all get thrown in this mix. So when we met, I was like, I don't know who you are, but we all get thrown in that mix, and suddenly somebody's saying, read this. Read this off the page that some teen has scrawled out and make this character come to life. And,
Yes.
immediately it was like, you were on it. I was like, oh, who are you? Because damn.
Big choices. I can do that.
Yeah, right. I hadn't even thought of it that way. Yes, big choices. But yeah, that was, to me, when we talk about theater, and it's funny, I was talking to somebody recently, and the professional, I got in trouble on the audition page yesterday on Facebook
Ooh.
because there was yet another project, and it's
Oh, I saw the post.
non-union. What?
I saw the post. Go ahead.
Oh, you saw that. Non-union, no pay. And I'm just tired. I'm tired of seeing that shit. So I was finally like, could somebody make a page where for the projects that are actually paying anything. I'm not talking union, just paying. And boy, I got a couple of people kind of sniping back at me. And I'm like, doesn't equity have that? Actually, equity does, and that's fine. But there's a whole spectrum of theater, and I would like to be able to have a conversation with those folks that are somewhere else on the spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm not a snooty equity actor where it's got to be a union project or I can't do it. Yeah, as an actor, actually, yeah, we have to have that conversation. We have to have that communication. But as a director, I mean, I don't find I have that problem at all. I don't know how you've navigated that zone.
About whether or not actors get paid.
And the equity, non-equity, since you are equity.
The directing doesn't have anything to do with it. Yeah. Is that what you're asking?
Well,
Or-
partly. But I mean, directing does because you're either directing a show that has some kind of willingness to have that conversation or absolutely not.
Yeah, I won't work if there's no pay for the actors. I wouldn't. Yeah, I just.
Yay.
Yeah, don't think I've ever done that since
Good.
high school, college. Yeah. There's always been, even if it's a $100 stipend,
Yeah.
there's been something.
Reg and I both.
That's not true. That's not true.
Okay. Tell.
Subterranean Shakespeare used to do readings, and they refused to pay actors.
Right.
They refused.
So I
Wow.
would give every actor,
Yeah.
and
That's
I would give every actor a
Stanley,
chocolate
right?
bar. It was Jeff Pond.
Jeffrey
Jeff
Pond. Yes.
Yeah.
No,
So I'd give chocolate bars.
Reg and I both got invited into a project recently. I guess you never got the email, right? Reg?
No.
Oh,
Me.
what is it?
There was a project, the Alameda group, the Alameda Play Reading Group, is doing yet another August Wilson. And I think they had the wrong email address for you, but they sent to both of us inviting us in. I told you, and you were like, yeah, no, I'm not interested. I'm like, okay, well then I won't
Oh,
bother
okay.
sending
It
it.
been a while back. Yeah.
Oh, a couple
But
of
I take it
weeks.
they weren't paying.
Right. And, well, they pay a stipend. And again, I'm okay with that. Like I worked with Plathos. Plathos does not pay much for their actors. In fact, they won't make a commitment to paying their actors. They say they want to do it. That's their commitment. Is we hope that we can do it. And I'm like, I hope you learn as a producer at some point that if you don't set your goals, then you never attain them, or you attain them and it's a surprise. And you're like, oh my God, we got that. No, make that a plan, aim for that. But even within that situation, because they were willing, I pushed and they were willing to go, okay, well, we'll make as little commitment as possible, but they made a commitment. Because I'm like, no, I'm not going to ask people. I'm going to direct a show next year, and I'm already nervous about who I'm going to invite in because I don't think the theater company pays very much.
Yeah, because as a director, I'm sure you're undercut with the talent that you get. It's almost like football. It's like, you can't get the first round draft picks because there's no money. And,
Right.
What actors can you recruit?
Well,
If
not just first round, Angelo,
Yeah,
this wonderful actor who lives in the Central Valley or lives, south of here in sort of Central Valley, like in the boonies from Gilroy.
yeah.
You
I'll
know,
consider him a first round draft pick. But
no, he's great.
yeah,
But he's not equity, so I don't have to worry about that. If I'm in a non-equity show, I can have that conversation with him. But if y'all are talking about literally something like $50 or $100, I can't ask anybody to commute for a whole rehearsal process for
yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
not going to pay their commute.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. And I'm sure, Katja, you've had to deal with that as a director where you're not
Oh
only
yeah.
having a conversation with actors, but also with whoever's producing the thing to say, hey, listen, you may have expectations, but there's something you have to give more, whether it be money or resources or whatever, to make this thing realistic. Have you had those difficult conversations?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a theater company that I did a lot of work for that I really loved, but the pay for directing was not covering my commute,
Right.
and it would kill me because they would offer me these great shows, wonderful. I love the shows they picked,
Like what?
but
Like what? You don't have to name the
uh,
company, but what shows?
Eurydice, How I Learned to
Oh,
Drive,
yeah.
yeah, Albie, a lot of Albie. So I
Okay.
got some great opportunities, but I finally came to the point where I I have to love a project and I have to not lose money,
Right.
because I'm an abuela. I got
Yeah.
a grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I've
think
got really old phones.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between a theater company that's new and they don't have the money right now, but they're working on it. Like they're trying to get their grants and 501ks or, whatever it is too. And then there are companies that, to be quite honest, they just abuse, the
Well,
actors.
once you get past 2 seasons, 3 seasons, once you
Yep.
get past 3 seasons, you have some sense of stability. If you're doing that on the backs of your actors and your artists, that's not stability.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. I can think of one company that's been around for at least 20 years or whatever, even has their own house. They don't have to rent their own space and they still are paying only stipends. And I'm like,
There's a few. There's a few.
I'm not working with those folks anymore.
yeah.
Um,
And yeah, and I get with those people. I'm trying to learn to be respectful. So the woman in Alameda and I went back and forth because I basically what I learned to say is I'm not going to say no, I won't do it. I'll say these are the things that need to happen in order for me to be able to do this. This is what I'm uncomfortable with. Can we have a conversation about that? If you can make me comfortable, that's great. If you're willing to have a dialogue about how we could make this work, that's nice. But if you go, oh gosh, no, I don't know, we haven't done that. Okay, you haven't done it. If you're not willing to consider it now, then thank you for this conversation and we're done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Katya, what companies have you worked with that you've really bonded with, or that I don't know you've had the best experiences with?
Oh my gosh. uh, it's interesting. One of my favorite experiences was a recent one with the now defunct Quantum Dragon Theater,
Uh-huh.
Sam Tillis. Um, just because, and in that my stipend was low, but I was able to, because my commute, I could walk to the rehearsal. It didn't matter. You know, it was like, okay, I love this project. You know, the stipend will more than pay for my commute. So, and just the way they approached the play, even though they were a new and small theater, they had production meetings. They had, you know, they were very thoughtful about their process, and did pay their actors. And I was able to turn this story. It was about a woman who could take a pill and not age. The whole society could do that, and one woman decides not to.
Oh,
So her mother is the same age, but you have this one character played by 3 different actors. And I talked to the playwright and said, okay, you don't say what ethnicity. I really want to keep this open. Can I cast it any way I want? And she said, no.
oh,
But you have to keep a unity. I don't care how you cast it, but if it's all Asian, whatever,
oh!
you need to do that. So
They all had to be of a
yeah,
group. Okay.
of a group, yes. So I cast it Latino, Latinx. So, so I was like, because I have no actors who I could say, this is a good project, come in, read for this. I got the talent I needed. And I was really happy with it. I loved working on the play. I just felt utterly supported as a director. And it's
Where were
really
they?
sad.
Where were they housed?
They went all over the place. The last place they were was Potrero Stage.
Oh,
Oh, where the playground is. Okay.
Yeah, I love working with Playground too. I love Playground's a big part of my directing story.
yeah.
Once I started directing again, they were the people who said, "Hey, you want to direct with us?" And this
Yeah.
was back in 2003. So
It was funny too, and we reconnected because I didn't see you as much with Each One Reach One, and now I get the occasional email inviting me to something, and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that. I used to do that. I think that's done now.
When
But
you
it was
mentioned,
neat to find that we were in the pool together, and then neat also to find out that you and Robert were so connected.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Robert Estes, Anton's Well, is, small company here in the Bay Area, and, suddenly I
my
was like, oh,
sweetie.
wait, I know you.
Yep.
Robert and I bonded, and it was like pretty quickly. I felt like we were bonding, and then suddenly it was like, oh wait a minute, your partner's Katya? Oh shit, this is going to be distracting as hell because I really want to talk to you, but I really want to talk to Katya too.
wow, what a small world. I didn't know that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
Yeah.
fantastic talking to Robert. And obviously, Anton Well is doing some magnificent stuff. Really, really
yeah,
cool.
and
Yeah.
doing readings
Yeah.
now. Yeah,
Yeah. When you had mentioned 2003 and the Potrero
playground.
Stage,
Yeah,
that was they called it the Thick House back then. And I remember being on stage there. We Eastenders rented out the
right.
Potrero Hill stage. We did 4 monologues in 3 hotels. It was a play by John Robin Bates about an individual who he was selling Similac or some sort of a baby formula
Oh,
to folks
Three
in Africa.
Hotels.
Yeah, 3 hotels exactly.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love that
oh,
play.
I would love to see it again. And
Oh,
Craig Souza,
Eastenders.
yes, Craig Souza and
Yes.
Michael Greeley was in that, and it was
oh.
really
Ah,
moving.
I've directed her. She's
Michael,
wonderful.
yeah, what a small world.
And I directed very early on. I actually took a 10-year break from theater, and when I came back after about a year of acting, I started directing. And EastEnders was the second place I directed with.
Oh yeah.
Shotgun was the first.
What did you do? What did you do with EastEnders?
I did a one act. Tennessee Williams, Talk to Me Like the Rain and Let Me Listen.
It must have been the 10 by 10, or I know they were
Yeah.
doing these
Yes.
series. Yeah, 10 by 10, I think.
Yep. And yeah, that was the first play I directed. And then the second was The Winged Man by Jose Rivera at Shotgun. Another one act.
Wow. Really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you find navigating? Because the Bay Area, the theater scene is so broad. I mean, there are just so many little places where people are doing theater. How do you navigate that as a director?
I feel like as a director, I've been really fortunate in that people have come to me to ask me to direct. I have not been, a big promoter as a director. And that's part of the reason I phased out acting, because I did not enjoy the audition process. And I just found like I was always struggling and getting rejected.
Right.
But with theater, with directing, it's just landed in my lap, quite honestly. I've been really lucky, really lucky. And I've made the most of my opportunities, yeah, directing, I actually started in directing because I was a single mom.
Oh.
And if I was directing, I could bring my kids to rehearsal. So it was just this, and still do theater. So it was this practical thing, and being like, and I'm still telling a story. So it was a practical thing that made me realize, hey, I really like this. I'm using different neurons, and I'm getting to tell the story in a more holistic way, where I'm pushing more things. I have more of the vision. I'm not total control ever, because I'm really collaborative, and also I realize you never have total control.
Right. Say more about the collaborative thing, though, because it's funny. I'm now teaching a directing workshop, and it was one of the first, I think it was the thing I said on day one, and then I realized that's a difficult concept to understand, because it sounds so altruistic. Like, I'm just going to benevolently sit back and make sure that everybody gets to be a part of this. And I think the reality is something way different. You get into a certain situation, and things that seem like they're useful or are working are the places where you're like, oh yes, let's encourage this.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also realizing I'm not necessarily the smartest person in the room, and that what other people bring to the table is probably more. If I really give an artist the room to grow, they'll surprise me and bring things that I didn't know, would happen. That just us gathering in a room, there's magic that happens. And then, once they bring me something, I can go, let's push it this way. Let's push it this way. Let's amp this.
Do you have tricks for encouraging or fostering that collaborative process?
Actually I do. I don't like to do a lot of table work, but I do like to do a day or two of exercises. I also am really careful in my casting. And if I get a sense someone's a diva, I would be like, I don't care how talented you are.
Right.
You're not worth it.
Right.
So I've got a really strong diva barometer.
No, I remember one of my first shows with not one but two divas. Ooh, rehearsals were just tense the whole way through.
Yeah.
I totally appreciate that. I had two quick questions, if you don't mind, Norman.
Yeah, please.
Sure.
We've had a couple of directors on, especially as we're doing this Bad Summit thing, and there's been a lot of talk about school, how whether it's constructive, how it helps an individual sort of get structure. so that when they go either as an actor or as a director or as a creative, there's some sort of a structure that they can bring from school to the stage. But sometimes it can have the opposite effect where you're locked in on a type of a theater, let's say the classic way of doing theater,
Mm-hmm.
and it could be alienating. Do you find what do you think of the merits of school? I mean, we've even heard talk that school, depending on what school you go
Well,
to.
we've had a couple of people who've had no training.
Yeah, that's right. And we've
Mhm.
had some who have had training, but they've had very discriminatory, I guess, reactions. Or
Right.
let's say they went into the institution and they were discriminated upon because they didn't fit, their type. What is your take on school? Is it important? Is it necessary? Has it helped you? Have you learned more from life itself?
Well, as an actor, I thought school was really important, and training was super important. As a director, it's hard to separate the two, actually, for me, because I did one directing class at LA City College that was
Mhm.
designated directing. I remember close to nothing from it. But I feel like as an actor, I feel like I've definitely studied directors. Reed Davis was
Yes,
really,
indeed. Yeah.
really important to me as a director. I did a Three Sisters with him, had a couple of really small parts, but I was like,
Mhm.
I took notes. Susanna
Where
Martin,
was that?
another wonderful. When did I do that?
Yeah. I mean, who was that with? Three Sisters.
That was Reed Davis with Shotgun.
It was Shotgun. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Probably just after Man and Superman.
Okay. Yeah.
Same era. Susanna Martin's another director who I learned so much from acting with. And I've also assistant directed as recently as 4 years ago,
Uh-huh.
just because I like to be in a room and see what other directors are doing. So it isn't school per se, but it is education.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
it's
there's a
school
lot of
from the
ways.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've also done Directors Lab West,
Oh,
which
great.
was so fun
Mm-hmm.
because it was a group of directors, and you never get a group of directors all there,
Right.
talking and sharing viewpoints and seeing how many places there are on a spectrum
Mm-hmm.
in terms of how people approach theater.
Yeah.
It, yeah.
The second question I have is, it sounds like you've been directing for, I would say, 10 or 15, maybe even 20 years. And I'm sure you've seen a generation of actors.
Huh.
Have you dealt with younger actors, or what have you seen as far as the generation of actors? Are they getting better or worse, or are you seeing different acting styles from acting schools? What do you think of the newer generation of actors?
I think we've got some really great. I've gotten to work with Gianna de Gregorio Rivera, um, and there are a lot of great actors coming up. And I think that's the thing about it. I took a 10-year break. I came back, and I didn't know anybody.
Mm.
It's like the whole theater scene shifted in 10 years. The thing I love about the Bay Area is there's always new stuff going on to suss out, and it's like, every June a new class comes from SF State or people just coming in. So it seems like there's always just this great pool of talent that we have here. And I love that, I remember when Ubuntu, which is now Oakland Theater Project,
Right.
first started, and I was like, who are they? They're cool. So, yeah, I can't put a real value except that it's a more diverse and this diverser group expects to have opportunity. They aren't like, okay, what can I get? It's like, no, we want opportunity.
Yeah, maybe they're more proactive. They're more there are things that
Emboldened.
they embolden maybe.
Yeah.
When you mentioned Eurydice, I was like, wow, because that on so many levels that's a young person's story. Even though the father thing, I mean, that's the young person's story. If that's all it was, I don't think I would care about it as much. But watching
No.
this daughter trying to reconnect with her father, who's not all here because he's been drinking from the river of forgetfulness.
Yeah.
Um, as an older person approaching these young
Yep.
people's stories, is there something about it that draws you to that? Is there something that makes you go, "Oh, I really want to, delve in this realm"?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw Eurydice on the original production
Oh,
with Charles Shaw Robinson as the
was that
dad.
at Berkeley Rep? Was the original production?
Well, it was that Berkeley Rep, and then it went to New York, and I saw it in
Okay,
New York.
yeah, yeah. I did see it, and yeah,
Yeah.
he was my favorite thing. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's always has to be something that a shiver moment for me.
Hmm.
Where I get the little shivers on my back of my neck, and I'm like, "Ooh, this is what I want to do." Yeah, yeah. Did I answer that question?
I think so.
Well, I mean, it's just funny to me, because I find I'm also interested in stories of folks that are later in life, grappling. People seem to think that your life just starts to peel off and wilt after 30, and that's so not true. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited by those stories, but I also find that I love going back and dealing with young people. I'm working on with a class that I'm working with right now. I'm working on Mr. Burns, and I
Ah.
haven't even read the play all the way through. And it's a
Mm.
bizarre play set in the future. And the first scene that you encounter is a group of people around a campfire trying to remember Simpsons episodes. This one
Yes.
guy's trying to recount a Simpsons episode, and everybody is chiming in.
Yes.
And I used this as my introduction to my directing workshop. One, because I knew it would engage the kids. I knew that they would be excited about, familiar with the subject matter. Um, all of a sudden, they keep hearing a sound, and the second time they think they hear a sound, everybody jumps up and weapons. They all have guns, rifles, everything. And the thing is, you don't really get a sense of how old they are through that first sequence. So I'm
Hmm.
like, well, this will be appropriate for my kids. This will be fine. But when somebody says, oh, my wife, blah, 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 I remember my wife, I'm like, okay, for you to be at an age where you've already experienced losing a wife, you can't be very young.
Yeah.
You got to be a certain age.
Yeah.
And yet, the way the play was structured, and that's what we stopped and talked about the second day we were dealing with it. I said, I just want to stop and talk about the play because it's fun to watch people trying to remember this. When the guns come out, it becomes a very different play. And I said, and your
Yeah.
job as a director is to think about what that means and what do you need to accomplish in that first section so that that moment reads the way you want it to read. You don't want the audience to suddenly go, wait a minute, I don't know what this is. I don't like this. You want the audience to go, whoa, what's going to happen now?
Yeah. 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 That's a great play.
Yeah,
Great
so to bring
play.
it back to the conversation about you're at this place now where, well, it's a question that Reg likes to ask a lot about the choices that you make. How
Hmm.
much is it you get to choose the project and how much is it this is the project that's available and they're looking for somebody and you're interested? Do you find yourself more in one side of that equation than the other?
Where do I find myself in that equation?
Are you picking the projects, or are the projects just sort of landing in your lap?
The projects are kind of landing in my lap a lot of the time. A lot of the time. Yeah. I mean, I have pushed projects, but a lot of times, the majority of the time, they're landing in my lap. And that said, I have said no. I will say
That was
no
going to be
if
my next
it's,
question. So you
yeah. If
still
I'm like,
find
yeah, it's a good
something
play.
about it that makes you go, yeah, I wanna do this.
Oh yeah. It has to. It has to. Because I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not. And yeah, it just has to have this like, oh, I have to see this play. I have something to say in this play.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah.
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 So one question, sort of piggybacking on what Norma was saying, it's hard for an audience to recognize the director as a artist because we see the actors on stage and we see the lighting and we see the music. But you're making a statement as a director, even if you're given a play that you didn't even choose, but you're making the choices as far as the arc and the direction that you give. When people see a Katja Rivera play, what statement are you making? I mean, have you even thought about that? I mean, is there a sort of a signature Katja Rivera play?
For a while, I had a rolling chair theme.
Rolling
Where there
chair.
was
That's
always a
cool.
rolling chair. Yeah,
Ah,
those chairs on rollers. Um, uh, I No, that's an interesting. I do tend to uplift out and push both Latinx actors and Latinx stories.
uh-huh.
So it's rare that I have a play where there isn't a Latinx actor, and that's been since day one. Since day one, um, I think. Yeah, I think because I really another there are a couple of things that influence me as a director and that are not about directing at all. One is being a mother and learning how to work with people and how to get the most out of them, which is usually with sugar, I find, rather than vinegar.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, but also as a body worker, there's a way in which, as a massage therapist, I'll put my hands on someone and their body will tell me where I need to work. And I feel like with each play, I'm the same way. It's like I feel like I have to really listen to the play. And another thing that's I don't ever remember hearing anybody say, but is truly part of my process is I don't like reading plays.
Huh.
When I'm doing a play, I can't read any fiction because I can only have that story in my head, and I have a lot of resistance to a script when I know I'm going to be, doing in this world for 2 to 3 months. Initially, I'll be like, and then I realize, okay, I've got to sit down and do the work, and then I'm just like sucked in. And it's at that point where I'm really like listening, and I will get images and about things I want. A lot of times it's around costumes to tell the story, or music. Sound is really important to me. So I'd say sound is an element in my plays.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just feel like each play has its own story to tell, and I don't have a real signature
Uh-huh.
because I feel like that'd be me getting in the way of the story.
Right. Yeah.
Put
You
my
don't want
ego
it to
in.
be the Katja Rivera Shakespeare.
Yeah.
You want it to be whatever it is. What we are in this crazy ass period where knowing what's next is sort of up in the air. What do you see, as trying to take next steps in terms of making theater? Where do you see yourself moving, or who do you see doing something that looks like a way forward?
Oh boy. Um, I think that we're going to be doing a lot of live streaming for the next year,
Yeah.
even if we get audiences in. And I'm interested to see the creativity that's going to happen around that.
Is anybody
about to
doing
have
live that you think it makes sense, like that you would dare go to right now?
No.
I know. Yeah. It's like
No.
it's a dangerous time.
They'd have to have like a plastic shield, in front of the stage. It'd have to be like just plexiglass. So
I'm
they'd be
figuring it's
acting.
going to be outdoors, and I'm trying to wrap my brain around possible outdoor projects where people can still be safely distanced, but
Ah,
enjoy the show. But
I'm
no,
pouring
we are
myself some
definitely in
water.
that era. So then, what do you do next if you're, waiting for theater to come back?
I'm writing.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm writing. I did a project with Evelyn Jean Pine,
mm-hmm.
who's also in the Playground Pool. We wrote a play, and sorry, I got to drink some water.
Yeah.
So it's called The Invisible Project, and we got a cash grant to
Uh-huh.
do development on it. So that's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And Michelle Talgaro is directing it.
Her birthday is coming up. She's on my birthday list.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got Wilma Bonet and
Yay!
Tessa Koning
Yay!
Martinez
Yeah.
and Keiko Carrera and
Damn.
Leticia Duarte
Uh-huh.
and
Leticia, right on.
Lisa Wang. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've worked with her a couple of times. I
Yeah,
love working with
it
her.
sounds like quite the project. Damn.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Do you have a
we
date?
start rehearsal on Thursday, October 24th. We're doing
Oh, sweet.
a Zoom, and we're doing a theater authority.
Yeah,
So
right. So it's
it's
equity.
for
Or it's equity
So
approved.
it's
Yeah.
yes. So we're paying everybody though, 15 an hour.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
Well,
Yeah,
we need a
Yeah,
link. That sounds great.
I
yeah.
will.
Send us a link, and we'll definitely promote it.
So yeah, how are you going to stay
Will do.
sane? I don't know if Reg has another question, but my final question with this is, how are you going to stay sane as we move forward? Are you're obviously holding on to some idea that we can still find some way to do theater?
Yeah, yeah. So writing, definitely writing. I lost 2 projects because of the pandemic, but one of them, was with Anton's Well
Yeah.
and Douglas Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that we can do that. That was Fafu and Her Friends by Maria
Yeah.
Irene
Yep.
Fornes.
Yep.
I want to do that. I really want to do that play.
Yay! It's been a while since
Yeah.
it's been done around here, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I did it in college, so now I want
Yeah.
to direct it.
Yeah.
So
No.
yeah, this gives me a chance to, dive into what, stories that are important. And with Shotgun, I'm working on their EDI committee and with Playground. So the theaters that I've traditionally been with, I'm like saying, part of the group that's like, let's do this. Come on, guys.
Right. Here are some ways that you can actually accomplish this. Because these
Yeah.
are nice ideas. Let's
Yeah,
actually do something.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the last question that I have, and thank you so much for being on. How has the Bay Area treated you as an artist? Are you getting the most out of it? Are you frustrated, or are you satisfied? How do you feel about how the Bay's treated you? And you can be honest.
Nah.
I That's a good question. I'm thinking about it. My first reaction is, I really don't have too many complaints because I feel like I haven't worked that hard to get the opportunities. So I've been very
Okay.
fortunate.
Uh-huh.
I remember having a conversation with Dawn Monique Williams before she went off to school, and she was like, "How do you get work?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know. It happens. I don't know."
Right.
So I feel like I've been as busy as I wanted to be, and I've gotten to tell stories, and it doesn't matter to me at this point in my life whether or not it was at the Douglas Morrison or Berkeley Rep. It really doesn't. If the fact that I got to tell the stories is the important thing, not where. So I feel like I've had opportunities. I have had a lot of opportunities. And so what if it wasn't with Berkeley Rep? Yeah. I think that just for me, the work has been the important thing, not the,
Not the prestige.
not the prestige. Yeah. So thank God, because I haven't wanted to do the things like go to school or move to New York that would have pushed me to maybe a higher level, and that's fine. That's fine. I love my life. I love where I've been. I've had a lot of opportunity.
I'm always happy to know somebody who feels sane to me, who is committed to doing this work, because those two things don't seem to go together all the time.
Yeah. And this art form, it can be crazy making, if you tie your ego to it, if you tie your self-worth, and yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you gotta remember to do the other things. We should keep you on the list for February for Valentine's Day, because we don't have a ton of theater couples.
Yeah, that's right. We got to get you and Robert Estes on to tell us a love story.
Furby, as I call him.
Yeah, and I take it he's doing well. How's he doing? How's Robert doing?
He's doing good. He's planning. He's making plans.
He's reading a lot.
He's got plans.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He's getting some ideas going. Yeah. And trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I guess we've hit the 1 hour mark. So shout outs, birthdays.
Yeah, birthdays. I'm gonna try and skip the names that I think that you have, and if you miss them, I'll come back in with them. Angela Madura was a student at Mills College when Oakland Public Theater was in residence there, and she became our stage manager. Actually, she was more like the not production manager. She was the facility manager, really, but she did so much to help us. And now I think she lives in Oregon and is a mom. Life changes. I'm not sure if she's doing theater at all anymore. But anyway, that's her birthday's coming up. I think it's today. Tanya Schaefer's birthday is coming up. If people don't know Tanya Schaefer, they really should. She is a wonderful performer and singer and playwright, and I think that's what she's mostly known for, is being a playwright. She's written a bunch of pieces that have not only gotten attention here and even been produced at Berkeley Rep, but have gotten some attention in New York. She's a hustler, and in the best way. Melvin, you know Melvin, but I already said his
I know
name.
Melvin.
Melvin Badiola, yeah.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Melvin Baldiola. His birthday's coming up. I'll skip past that. Josh Marchese, his birthday's coming up this week. Major director in the Bay Area. Alan Manalo. And I wasn't sure if you'd have him on your list. Alan Manalo is one of the people who, if they didn't found
one of the
Bindlestiff,
founders of Bindlestiff, yeah.
yeah, they lifted it up. They definitely, by the time they got that new facility, it was people like Alan. And honestly, I went to see a show that they had produced over here in the East Bay. Tiny little show at a community center. It really was not even a theater. It was a room. It was like a cafe. And it was amazing. It was such a gorgeous show, so well put together. And I was like, there's the way where we want to tell our stories. We who are not the mainstream want to find ways to tell our stories. And too often it becomes some sort of diatribe or, political whatever. No, they made really incredible theater, and Bindlestiff has grown out of that. So, Alan Manalo. Somebody I went to high school with, Cecile Alessi, which is not what her name was when we went to school, but we did a high school theater together. Her birthday is this week. And a woman I know as Sonia, who is not listed as that on Facebook, but Sonia Bellevue, is somebody I met as a model. And then she asked me to do a theater piece with her, and we did this gorgeous little piece at Counterpulse before they moved to their new space. Ruben Castro is a theater artist who I know through Richard Talavera. His birthday is coming up this week, but Ruben is Spanish. So he has actually been here to visit in the last fucking month because he has dual citizenship. So he can actually travel back and forth where nobody else, Americans can't go to Spain. Spain won't let you come to America. But if you got that dual citizenship thing, and yeah, he's in addition to being a performer, he is also a creator. He's a writer, director. Jamie Mulligan. Jamie, I knew from the Magic Theater as a tech person, and then we got pushed together when the Noodle Factory, that brief shining moment of a performance space in West Oakland, we all got pulled together, and he was the first one, smart man, to go, you know what, this does not look like it's sustainable, and he stepped away. Very politely, like he did it in such a dignified way. I learned from that. But anyway, he's Bay Area. His birthday's coming up this week. Michelle Talgaro, who we should go to the show at some point. We went to SF State together, and she has been one of those few people like me who has just been in it and continuing to do it. Regina Moranis was the lead on the show As You Like It last summer. That was how I met her, only to find out she's been in it and doing it for quite a while. Kamika Hartford is somebody that I met when she was a young woman and not Hartford. It's so funny to find people's married names. It's like, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Beautiful young actress, really talented. And final one I have is Bob Webb. Bob and I know each other. We met through the Bay Area Models Guild. He is a model, I'm a model. That's how we met. And then we got to do a couple of shows with Word for Word. He was and is an incredible stage manager. And he's got this voice for radio. Oh my God. You hear Bob's voice and you just want to do whatever Bob says. When Bob says, well, kids, I guess that's it for the day. You're like, oh, we're done. I've just been in a very friendly way invited to go home. On the other hand, well, kids, it's time for this. He just has this voice that just makes you want to perk up. You're the RCA dog. Suddenly your ear is up and you're like, oh. So those are my birthdays for the week.
Sounds like Burl Ives. Yeah, it takes talent to do the
He's
voice
definitely
acting.
got that voice, yeah.
Okay, so you took a couple of mine, but that's okay. I had a lot of Ellington friends. I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts in D.C., and there are a couple of them whose birthdays. Miracle Austin, she is an undergraduate. She graduated in '88, and I graduated in '87, and she's a wonderful actress. I'm hoping she's still involved. I'm always, every time I watch TV or, like an HBO special or whatever, I'll be like, oh, wait a minute. I recognize a schoolmate of mine. So in any case, Miracles, her birthday is tomorrow. Also tomorrow, Jay Cronengold, and he is an actor, singer. He was involved in, he helped in the development of My Play Foreman in Paris. He did one of the readings. And so I wanted to celebrate him. And also, he and I were on Candide at the Douglas Morrison. Also, Tanika Baptiste. I don't recognize the name. Maybe you do. Do you recognize Baptiste? Okay. She's a Bay Area actress. Sometimes I have these people on my list. Right. I have no idea how they got on there. Along with Alan Manalo, whose birthday is on Monday. I'm sorry, actually on Tuesday, is Laura Zimmerman. And we were a casualty of COVID-19. We were supposed to do Tiny Beautiful Things at the Douglas Morrison.
Right, yes. Yep.
And she was one of the actresses that was hired to do it. And she's a fantastic actress. She also did work in L.A., got frustrated, came to the Bay and found her community, found her clan, her tribe. And she's just magnificent. She's really, really good. And so I hope to see her on stage in the future. Her birthday is Tuesday. Also Tuesday, another Ellingtonite who's actually gone on to do big things. Lamont Rucker. He has been in a lot of the Tyler Perry movies, and he's doing all sorts of other great things. And he's one of the great limelights of Duke Ellington. You know, when we think of an alumni who's made it, like Dave Chappelle and some of the others, we point to Lamont Rucker. So his birthday's Tuesday. Also Tuesday, another Ellingtonite, Tracy Jenkins. She was, I think, Miss DC of 1987 as well.
Wow!
So there you
No,
go.
it's got to be funny to look back and go, oh yeah, that's, when somebody says, Mom, what? You did that? I'm like,
Yeah. Oh,
that was before you were around, yes.
so that's Tracy Jenkins. On Friday, we were talking about Bindlestiff and how wonderful Bindlestiff has been. One of the actors on Bindlestiff, he's not even Filipino, Davern Wright. And he is an actor.
Yeah.
Do you know Davern?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what he's doing these days, but he was such a great presence when we did Stories High, I think 14. And he and I acted, and I know he was sort of a mover and shaker, one of these actors who's always busy. But I haven't heard his name recently, but he's a fantastic presence on stage, and his birthday is Friday. And the last, we had her on, Maya Herbsman, and she is the intimacy coach. And she's worked with a bunch. That's right. She's worked with a bunch of theater companies, really sort of preaching the gospel of having intimacy and being very careful about how to deal with intimacy in directing. And she's helped out a lot of theater companies approach those intimacy scenes with the respect that it deserves. So her birthday is on Saturday, a week from now.
Yay.
Those
Katja, you got any birthdays you want to add in, or any shows that you're thinking about that you know are coming up?
This next week coming up?
Yeah.
Well, actually, on October 13th, my best friend from high school, it's her birthday. Her name is Sydney Gilner, and she named me Katja. She's the one who named me. And she was a script supervisor for many years, is no longer doing that, but love her dearly, and she's in LA. Miss her.
Right on. Any shows, Norman? Anything you got going on?
I got nothing at this point. My show is done. Neighborhood Stories is done. Playground is about to announce. Actually, weird. The next round will be on my birthday, October 12th. And I'm like, oh, well, then y'all better put me in the pool, damn it.
Yeah, and the theme is suffrage. Suffrage. That's right, suffrage.
That's right, suffrage.
So we will see who
something we can all identify with.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that'll be October the 12th, but we don't know what's who the playwrights will
what
be,
shows,
and the actors,
what
and all the
play,
shows or whatever.
Yeah, shoot, actors ain't even been communicated.
Yeah, Central Works. We've talked about Bystanders, so that's been extended once again to October the 4th. That's tomorrow. So tomorrow is the last day, but who knows? It may be extended again. But apparently they're doing really, really good. That is, and that has one of our favorite actresses and directors, Kimberly Ridgway.
Yeah,
she's involved in it. So it is written by Patricia Milton, Bystanders, directed by Gary Graves. And so that'll be and we'll have the link. So you click on the link if you want to see the show, and you can buy a ticket. And the last day is tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, this really is traditionally that time of year where either show seasons are starting or it's just a dead time. It's summer is done, and now what? And with everybody canceling seasons, now what is a big question? Hopefully we can help answer that a little bit.
Yeah. And also, Plethos Productions, tonight, they're doing their Joketoberfest. So you can buy a ticket if you need a laugh. I think all of us can need a laugh right now. They've got some really, really cool artists who have been in the comedy circuit. So you'll get to see some really top-notch actors and jokesters. So we'll have the link there, plethos.org, and you can find out about that. And also, I've talked about this, The Private Life of the Not-So-Master Race. That is a project that I'm working on, the Brecht Project. Right. A lot of us ex-Eastenders, there's Susan Evans, there's Scott Munson, and Christine Urin, Jean Mossy, and a bunch of us. And I've written a piece on it, Judicial Process, and Christine has written The Informer. These are adaptations. We're taking Brecht and we're applying what's happening in the Trump administration to text. And so
I did that in college.
yeah, there you go. Oh, Brecht, yeah. As a matter of fact,
That play.
yeah, Fear and Misery. Oh, which play is this?
Private Lives of Master Ace.
Yeah, there you go.
I was in The Informer. I was in a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and Eastenders, we did. That was one of the last things that we did before Eastenders folded. That was in 2007. We did it at the Traveling Jewish Theater and the Jewish Community Center in the Bay Area. But in any case, so that was in 2007, and now in 2020, we're reviving it again, and the performances will be October the 27th, the 28th, and the 29th. We actually have dates now. So we'll have a link.
Yay!
Yeah, exactly. So we have the link. Click on the link, and you can buy tickets and check us out. And I think that's it.
Katja, I have one.
Do you have any?
Yes.
Yeah, Katja, what you got?
Yeah, I'm going to be speaking of Kimberly Ridgway. She's doing a staged reading on Monday at 7 p.m. With Contra Costa Civic.
Nice.
She's directing it. It's called Welcome to Madison by Inda Craig Gavan, and it has Dorian Lockhart.
Wow, big name.
Yeah, Lockett, Umi Grant.
Lockett, yeah.
Damaris DeVito and April Duchle.
Sweet.
Yeah, and Damaris is actually involved in the Brecht project too. So it's amazing how it's a small world, the theater community. Everyone knows everyone, and so and I tell you, Kimberly Ridgway, she's really working it. I mean, you think in COVID-19, actors would be sidelined. She has been either acting or directing in several projects, and it's really, really awesome. Katja, did you enjoy yourself?
I had a great time.
Thank you.
Finally, now I really know you. Because we're Facebook friends, now I know you.
No, it's fantastic, and thank you so much. And of course we could go on and on and on, but we want to be respectful of your time. Here's my usual blurb. You're probably watching this on YouTube right now, so please like and subscribe if you enjoy what we're doing. And if you have any issues or questions, or you have any comments, please give us our comments, and we'll respond to it. We usually are pretty good in responding to comments. And if you're listening to us, we are on any podcast app that you could listen to. We're on Spotify. We're on the purple podcast app that you have on your iPhones. And if you're an Android user, you can go on to SoundCloud.com or just go on the SoundCloud app, download the SoundCloud app, and you can find us. The Yay was created by theater people for theater people. If you have a show you want to advertise, or if you just want to advertise yourself, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. I'm at Reg Space Clay.
I'm at Who's Your Hoosier.
Katja, do you have any social media that people can reach you at?
Yeah, Katja Rivera at Twitter.
Right on. Easy enough. Thank you so much. And as Norman and I always say, we gotta find a better sign off. And we are out.